This makes me think about.
Click. Oh yeah, Lit, the band. Great band. Click like, subscribe if you like this strange content that we put forth. And thanks for joining us. Jonathan, Baxter, Casino Guitars here once again. How are you?
Good.
We're here to talk about something super sad.
It is a little sad.
But strangely mystifying. We were just talking this morning and somehow the 27 Club came up.
It's true.
And if you're not aware what the 27 Club is, it's that club you don't want to be a member of.
Probably not.
Or maybe you do if you're like have that sort of like tortured artist Van Gogh soul. But where like, you know, all these famous rock stars and performers that have died at the age of 27. And we want to sort of dig into some of them and maybe our thoughts on how this kind of reaches that critical mass of destruction at that point in life.
Could be aliens.
Could be aliens.
I love conspiracy theories.
That's not far from the truth. He does like conspiracy theories, I think. Well, it all starts with Jimmy, Janis, and Jim. So Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim, and they all died from that 69 to 71 period.
That's true.
That's why I was like, all like, whoa, 3 years, like the biggest sort of rock stars in the world, just like snuffed out
at 27.
You know, which in the age of pop stars is a grandfather.
That's true.
But in the days of rock stars, that's kind of like you just hit your stride.
Especially back then, right? It wasn't so much back then that you had to be like 17 to make it, you know.
Like now we look at the Jonas Brothers as like sort of like the patriarchs of pop rock.
They're so old.
God, look at those old guys out there with wives and kids. Ew. Right. But
yeah.
Or if you watch Love Is Blind and you're like that host, oh, he was in this band called 98 Degrees. It's not really, it's a boy band. But it's just fun. Most of you that watch that have no idea what 98 Degrees is. It was a boy band. He was married to Jessica Simpson.
I was going to say, I just know that he was married to Jessica Simpson.
I mean, that's all that matters. They were sort of like they were like the third tier. There's like Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC. And there's like 98 Degrees, hey.
They were sort of like the last wave of that. You
hey.
know? Like the ones that kind of sort of mattered.
It's like Warrant. Which I love Warrant. Don't get me wrong. I do.
The end of an era. End of hair metal. Yeah, hair metal.
Anyway, so like that happened. Then there was this, don't get me wrong, more people died at 27. But then there was this sort of like trough. And then Kurt Cobain in 94, when he died at 27 as well. Sort of like, whoa, this is this age. Then Amy Winehouse years later, the same age. And then that's when we definitely historically started looking back and seeing from Brian Jones and some of these other cats to even Marilyn Monroe at 27. James Dean at 27. That was a car accident.
Crazy.
But it's just this weird moment of someone's life that is just taken away at the height of one's career. Why do you think this might be?
I have no idea. Apparently, if you live past 27, you're not that talented. So if you've made it past that, welcome to mediocrity with the rest of us. No, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's something to do with if you like, you are that talented and you're that sort of tortured and you blow up in your early 20s, late teens, then you start partying.
I think the partying is a big part of it, obviously, but it is like you get to, because like you've reached success. You're not trying to get successful anymore, and then you reach the abundance of success too, that you're given anything you need and whatever you want.
I mean, maybe, you know, I don't know, man. You could get really like sort of esoteric and philosophical, and you know, say that if you sort of burn that brightly all at once, you just kind of you burn yourself out quickly, you know.
Neil Young's famous line, rather burn out than fade away.
But I mean, I think about, you know, I know the most about Hendrix. Seems like he was just getting started good. Like he was about to reinvent himself and band of gypsy stuff and, you know.
He's going to get back with his original trio too.
He was talking about that, yeah. I mean, so it just seems like he was just hitting his stride as far as what he wanted to do and being in total control of what he wanted to create. And I don't know, man. It's just... It's really wild.
No, it is wild. It's a weird number because it is. It's like the time when you might be starting a family, or like you're creatively you've reached adulthood.
Right.
I feel like we were talking about like what if Clapton had died right after Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's sort of his legacy is there. And like
so you'd have that and Cream and Blind Faith and like the John Mayer stuff and the Yardbirds, and that would be it. You'd be like, oh my God, the greatest.
I mean, it is the greatest. Like, and like in some weird ways, like, you know, when these artists die young, you can put them in this bottle. Because like, who would have known what Kurt Cobain would have produced? I think we did lose a lot with his death. I think
the flip side, and not to say that it's good that anybody died, the flip side is maybe he produced some real like crappy stuff, and that dilutes that first album. You say, oh, he put out these first few things with his first band Nirvana, now that's fine, and then it got really weird, and maybe that makes him a footnote in history as opposed to
or the
this
iconic
central thing.
Or the other flip side too is like two of my favorite artists, Elvis Presley, and Michael Jackson. They both probably should have burned out years before, if not decades.
Right.
You know, like Eric Clapton, not Eric Clapton, sorry.
Should have been dead.
No, he's not dead. No, I'm glad Clapton's alive. I want him to keep living forever and keep making amazing music.
Side note, seems like Clapton is playing amazingly right
something
now.
happened. His like playing level.
I don't know what happened.
Like 10 years ago was and then all of a sudden he's like, better than any of us, but now it's just outrageously good again.
Infusion of alien stem cells. I'm going with that.
Elvis,
theory.
that's what I was talking about. No, like, but because like Elvis in '76 or whatnot, like, what a nice idea. Like if it was like '66,
right?
Like as far as like he did the comeback special,
right?
And then he kind of like he's still alive in Phoenix, obviously, but if he was still performing and making music, just to not have to go through like the sad Elvis phases of.
Right.
The drug Elvis and just kind of getting out of shape, but he did make some great. Aloha Elvis is still an amazing concert, so that's still there. And the new Elvis movie's coming out, which I'm excited about. I hope it's not terrible. There's potential. It's 50-50 it could go on this one because this is a crazy producer, so we don't know. It could be amazing or it could be If it's like Australia with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman, we're in trouble.
It's true.
If it's not, if it's like more like Walk the Line, we got something with some pizzazz. And then Michael Jackson. We would all do much better not knowing that terrible phase of Michael Jackson, like having to go through all that torture.
Right.
Which is everything and just like the publicity and the negativity. But then I watched like live Michael Jackson the other day, and like I was so sad again. Just watching, like he still was so good at the end, and just watching him sound check and like getting ready to do that final tour that didn't get to happen.
I mean, that was a pretty amazing documentary. Just seeing him be in control for a lot of that stuff, and the scene in that where they're like, Michael, like, how are you gonna know when the screen changes? He's like, I'll just know, and then he does, and you're like, wow, amazing.
Like, do we need a cue? No.
I understand how that works. I understand. It's fine.
I would have done anything to hang out with either one of those two guys. Just brilliance, and I think that they'd probably be more fun to hang out with than Kurt Cobain.
That's probably true.
Kurt Cobain in the bathtub's pretty funny.
I bet Kurt Cobain was fun.
Yeah, I bet he was fun as hell.
Like no cameras on, no pressure. I bet he was probably cool, dude.
No, it is like all these great artists they shine so bright and they created such great pieces of work, and it is you have so many people around you just giving you whatever you need, and it's almost the self-sabotaging becomes like the idea of like the Disney stars that are mass produced today.
Well, yeah, we're talking about that, man, about how it's kind of weird. Like that a giant corporation decides, hey, kid, we're going to give you a TV show. We're going to make you, you're going to sing a song occasionally. You're going to get super famous. We're going to put out an album. You're going to be a huge pop star for a year or two. Then your life will go, you'll have a breakdown. And it's very strange.
Once you try to like break from our contract, which is ironclad, good luck. We're going to probably use you to as much as we can. And then,
I mean, it's kind of amazing to me that, well, this is morbid, but more of them don't have, by 27.
Well, it's neat to watch them come through it and get out and like them have careers past all this. Like even you could say like Britney Spears had like her crazy run, and she was a Disney star. Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, they've all had these dramatic. Justin Timberlake's been pretty.
It was all like Mickey Mouse. Club,
yeah, it's so cute to watch them in the.
Justin Timberlake seems the most grounded / unfazed by the whole.
And a lot of this probably is like the team you surround yourself with.
I'm sure that's true.
Because Jim Morrison was out there in Paris, like just drinking wine and getting high and in the bathtub and just getting fat, and didn't have like a team supporting and nurturing him that he needed. Because the Doors are pretty brilliant what they did in that short time as well. And talk about a dynamic performer. Jimi Hendrix obviously didn't have a team that was protecting him.
No.
And Janis Joplin, I think, just had people that loved her, but just like sometimes you gotta have that heart. I'm like, hey, stop, that could kill you. So it's a fascinating. So if you hadn't heard of the 27 Club, like there's a lot of names we didn't add in this because there's quite a bit. It's a weird thing when you say Robert Johnson. That's the one that we were sort of shocked by.
At the Crossroads.
Because I always think of Robert Johnson as like, if he's 45 or he made it to.
It's really just that one. All those songs were recorded at the same time, right? Like all that we have of his record.
Right, in that warehouse.
The best conspiracy theory I have right here. You ready?
Wait, go.
7 plus 2 is 9. 9 divided by 3, because 3 is a sacred number, is 3. Jesus died at 33. They all sold their soul to the devil. There you go. Bam.
Damn, that's
Numerology.
good. That's really disturbing. I'm going to have to go home and cry about this later.
I'm only kidding.
But, no.
I saw a comment the other day that we were like,
But maybe like there is something not you can't, we're not gonna get real like saying, but like there's this weird like everyone's dying at 27 and like maybe Robert Johnson started this trend.
That's what I'm saying. You could totally have a really like bad like not like.
But do you remember that movie Oh God?
But
with
no.
God, I can't remember. I just went blank. The old man's name, George Burns. He played God, and he also played the devil.
Yeah, okay.
And like,
do remember that.
And the whole idea is like a Billy Joel sort of wannabe, like makes a deal with the devil to become a pop star and becomes world famous. Then like when time is due, his soul is dead, and he has to make a deal with God to.
We've just given someone the premise for a really mediocre like B movie.
Someone needs to remake that movie. We didn't come up with premises.
Because we only remake movies now. Well, my numerology part we did.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like Nicolas Cage would be the star of that because like Knowing. If you haven't seen Knowing, it's actually pretty good. It's kind of a good movie. It's like this guy like number stuff. His kid's got some deal, and it's got a nice little twist to the end. I was like, that's way to go, Nicholas. And he's got a new movie coming out too. And it's talking about original properties and movies. Top Gun Maverick's coming out soon.
Completely. I know you're so excited about that.
I am excited. It's not original. That's a joke. But we all gathered around the screen to watch the final trailer. And like when it finished, we all like had this collective breath. Like that's why you go to see movies.
I mean, it does feel like a return to that. Like, I need to go see that at the theater. Right?
I'm gonna go to the theater.
Yeah.
I want to get popcorn. I want to have a big Coke.
We do that a lot here. We have little like movie trailer breaks when fun movie trailers come out. Baxter, like we have a little show and tell.
Well, then the whole team goes to the movies. Jonathan doesn't get to go as much because he's usually working on the nights we go because it's Tightwad Tuesdays.
That's right.
But there's a new theater chain ownership taking over, so who knows if Tightwad Tuesdays will be a thing. I'd be so sad if it's gone. We're excited about that movie. We're excited that Tom Cruise is eternal.
He is.
He will never die. And when he does, it will be the end of an era of Hollywood.
Because he's crazy, but also amazing. Maybe his deal was like, hey, you get to live and make movies indefinitely, but you're also like batshit crazy.
I don't think he's batshit. I think he's just misunderstood.
Yeah,
I could be completely wrong, as I've been many times before.
He might not be. The more I don't know.
I think he single-handedly. Maybe this is part of his craziness, but I think he has it on his shoulders that he is saving Hollywood, and I think he is because you look at the Academy Awards, and you're like, okay, so 9 out of 10 of the movies nobody saw.
Right.
Yeah, the winner of Best Picture was on an Apple streaming service, which changes the entire thing. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but now like the idea
that does change the game, right?
So now it's like the budgets will be flowing into those TV studios and. It's a whole different thing. But I think Tom Cruise, he wants people to go see butts and seats at the theater.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate Tom
Edge
Cruise.
of Tomorrow / Live, Die, Repeat, one of the greatest like action sci-fi movies out there.
Tom Cruise is pretty darn amazing.
And the way he looks is frustrating.
It is.
Jerk. So Tom, if you haven't seen this video, we're big fans.
I'm sorry about the batshit crazy remark.
So, I'm sure he's heard worse.
It was all in good fun.
It
goes back to the whole Katie Holmes episode. It's crazy. But anyways.
Oh, yeah. When he jumped with the Oprah Winfrey and everything. I remember watching that happen. I'd be like, this is awesome. I love every bit of it. Yeah. He was in love. You let that man be.
Maybe.
Oh, God, I need therapy too. Thanks for watching again. If you haven't already done it, click like, subscribe, comment. Just have a bit of fun. It's a weird, morbid video in some ways, but hopefully if you haven't heard of it, a little bit educational and sort of something to ponder and be like, hey, 27, it's a thing.
Thank goodness John Mayer made it. That's all I'm saying.
6 was 9.